Salut! Dans cette vidéo, we will learn all about the present. Qu'est-ce que c'est? What is the present? And comment ça fonctionne? How does it work? Speaking about the present is speaking about what is happening or happens now. Maintenant. An example will be j'écoute de la musique, which is I listen to music or I am listening to music, which can be translated in two different ways. In English, I am listening to music right now, and I listen to music as a usual or general fact. In French, we only have one present form, which makes it a lot easier for you to learn than for me. As you will find quite often, actually, English can be pretty confusing. Even more than French, imagine. So now, as we have seen previously in French, we differentiate the infinitive or form of the verb that you will find in the dictionary and categorize them into three groups. Le premier groupe, corresponding to the verb ending in ER, comme aimer, or jouer, or écouter. Le deuxième groupe, or second group, will be some of the verb ending in IR, like finir, and having their new form ending in ison at present. And the third group, for the other verbs ending in IR, partir, for example, to leave, and the ones ending in RE, like entendre, to hear, as well as all of the irregular verbs, such as être, to be, or avoir, to have. Why do we have three groups? Just because each group will have its specific endings or way to conjugate the verb. Like in English, you have I am, and you will need to change am for are if you want to speak for you. Okay? In French, just the ending of the verb will change, but this for each person. For example, you will say j'écoute with a I at the end for I listen, but then we will say nous écoutons with O and S at the end for we listen. So you will ask me, how can we make the present? Simple. Just by removing the infinitive ending, which again is ER for the first group. So let's take aimer, or to like, for example. Remove the ER, the mark of the infinitive, and you will get M, A-I-M, our present stem. Et voilà. Let's do the same with finir, for example. If you check our list given in the infinitive lesson, you will see that finir is part of the second group. So again, let's try to find the present stem for finir. You need to remove the IR, and it becomes fin, F-I-N. Finally, for the third group, ending in IR or RE, like entendre, you will end up with entend, E-N-T-E-N-D, once you would have removed your RE infinitive ending. Now, you have your stem, or roots, like some of the students like to call them. M for aimer, fin or fin for finir, and entend for entendre. We now need to add the right ending, just like a jigsaw. As you can see on the document, all verbs falling into the first group, represented by the first star, will end as such. You will have to put an I for je or I. You will have to put an IS for tu or you singular. Then an I for il, elle ou on. Then we'll have to put O and S for nous or we, an IZ for vous or you plural, and finally ENT for il with an S or L with an S corresponding to they. In this way, and very logically, if we take the verb aimer again, which is to like, we remove the ER of the infinitive, which gives us M-A-I-M. And to this, we need to add I for je. So finally, we obtain j'aime, I like, or I'm liking. However, for the new form, we now need to add ONS instead, and which will give us nous aimons for we like or we are liking. Pretty straightforward, isn't it? Now, all verbs falling into the second group will end in a similar way, but instead of I for je, we will have to change it for IS. So IS for tu, and then the S will become a T for il, elle, on, making it an ending IT. For nous, here is when it's changing a little bit, and where the groups become really important. So in the second group, the nous or we form, usually ending in ONS, will become ils sont instead. So we said finir was part of the second group. So can you guess what the new form of the present tense for finir will be? Yes, correct. It's nous finissons. So you remove the IR of finir, ending up with the present stem fin. To this, you need to add your ending ils sont to make nous finissons. Bravo, you got it. Then we'll have the same thing for vous, or you plural, which will end in IC, and again for il and elle with an S, or they, which will end in is, I-S-S-E-N-T. So again, we will have je finis, I-S, I finish, I am finishing, et nous finissons, I-S-S-O-N-S, we finish, or we are finishing. Now we've had a look at the first group and the second group. Let's see the third group, like entendre, for example. Very similar to the second group. So for je, the ending will be S. For tu, the ending will also be an S. But for il, elle, and on form, it will take nothing. So for entendre, we will remove the RE at the end, and we'll come up with entend, which will be the il form. Il entend. For nous, we will have the usual ONS, and not the ils sont this time. For vous, we'll have IZ, and for il with an S or elle with an S, it will be ENT. Et voilà, you know everything about the present of regular verbs. Bravo! But before we move into our next lesson, let's recap. There is a certain logic in everything in French. Et oui, the tu ending will always end in S or X, whatever is the verb or whatever the tense is. Likewise, il, elle, ou on will never finish with S or an X, but most likely with a E, a T, sometimes with a D. Nous will always end with ONS, sometimes ils sont for the second group. Vous will always end with IZ, and il and elle with an S will always end with NT. Most of the time, it will be ENT. Now, this makes it a lot easier, isn't it? I know you are also wondering when will you know if a verb ending in IR is part of the second group or the third group. The answer is you won't. But no one will expect you to guess. So you just need to know the most common verb. You can also write down some of them. For example, finir, to finish, réussir, to succeed, or again, choisir, to choose, are part of the second group. And at present, the new form will do ils sont. Otherwise, partir, to leave, venir, to come, or tenir, to hold, are all part of the third group and will do the normal on. You can also have a look at the infinitive lesson in Les Généralités module, where you will find a little list on page 2. That's it for us on the present. Now you know everything. Let's see if you understood well and try the little test. Voilà, c'est tout pour moi. Merci, à plus tard dans notre prochaine vidéo.